At Cancer Institute, all support groups are free of cost. There is no cost involved in being a part of the support group, and we have been pioneers in starting cancer support groups across the city and Tamil Nadu. The idea of the support group is to have few people join together, meet each other, talk about their lived in experiences of cancer, share their experiences, gain emotional comfort and get some practical tips on how to go about living with the disease and the treatment process. Both the disease itself and the treatment process has many areas where help in the form of emotional help, the practical help, the learning to cope with the disease, learn simple coping strategies to overcome small disabilities, all help. And these are something that when you talk to each other, when somebody has gone through similar experience, go in a big way to change the perception of what and decreases their emotional anxiety and burden. Cancer Institute started with very few support groups and has moved on to have specific support groups in various modalities. We have breast cancer support group, which is what you would have heard in the media in a big way, and that helps patients living with breast cancer to know about their self-image and how to cope with hair loss, the image that they associate themselves with. But there are many more support groups more than the breast cancer support group. There are support groups for patients who have lost their voice box. How do they talk? How do they go about modulating their voice and coming back to be able to speak? What about support group for patients with head and neck cancer where there is a flap done and there is a lot of disfigurement? How do they cope with that facial asymmetry and changes? What about support group for children or middle-aged people with bone cancer where they are likely to lose a limb? When they meet others with the processes and going through the life with almost no major changes, that gives them a lot of comfort to know that I can also do this and I can also go ahead and despite losing a limb have a full life. There is a support group for ostomy patients, patients with colostomy and ileostomy when their waste matter comes out and that has to be collected in a bag. How do you live? How do you go out in such a scenario? Can you take a public transport? Will accidents happen? How do you manage all this? So there is a support group for that. There is a support group for patients who need feeding through an artificial tube. How do you ensure that good nutrition happens? You don't bring out that food and have major complications. How do you manage to travel with that tube in place? There are many support groups specific to each of those diseases, and this is what helps. In children, the support groups come in the form of play therapy. It's not able to go to school, or a child is not able to be the way they are normally when go to school and things like that. We have a support group which ensures that they have a similar environment in the hospital so that they do not miss out on the small pleasures. Having been doing the support group for over 40 years now, what convinces Cancer Institute to continue to proceed in the same path is this feedback that we get from